Hey everyone, good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the EPS series on Business and Banking Dialogue, our online talk show, which we have every week from Monday to Friday. Today, our topic of discussion is Untold Story of India's Digital Public Goods. Something very interesting in today's discussion, and so please pay attention. My name is KK and I'm the host for today's show. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Dr. N Rajendran, the current CEO of IFTAS. Sir, on behalf of all the participants out here, we welcome you to this online show, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for giving this opportunity to speak to all the great leaders and the financial segment of the people.
Thank you, sir. We are now live across the EPS platform, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So across all these channels, people are able to watch us, okay, and hear us. So Dr. Rajendran has helped transform India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. He has been the chief architect in creating and implementing groundbreaking systems such as UPI. We all have heard about UPI, which we almost use on a day-to-day basis, which is rapidly increasing its footprint in digital payments revolution across India, as well as the most domestically successful card scheme, RuPay, for e-commerce, POS, and ATM machines. Participants, you would know that we have discussed about UPI extensively with many other subject matter experts. And so here you have Dr. Rajendran, who has been the architect of UPI. So in his previous role as in various capacity, Dr. Rajendran has conceptualized, implemented, and operationalized the NPCI, the NFS switch, the National Financial Switch, as we call it, the CTS, the check truncation system, immediate payment service, that is IMPS, National Automated Clearing, NACH as it is often called, Aadhaar-enabled payment system, AEPS, and others. So he has this tremendous experience in all sorts of payment services. So you were responsible for architecting UPI. Okay, today UPI is breaking grounds, and so were you elated when UPI crossed a big milestone of 1 billion transactions?
Okay, thank you very much, KK.
Yeah.
And this, if you see our country's the populations and demands of the payment segment, if we have monthly beginnings, the transactions for the subsidies, transactions for the direct benefits, then salaries, and many transactions happening in an exponential ways in months. In the beginning, in the first week of the month, always the volumes are very huge. And if you see the digital demands, and if you wanted to provide touching every Indians, and it is the big task to create the systems and to process also on the very short span of the time. And this is if you take the volumes, how it is grown and how it can be, where it is getting the process. One large volume processing systems are the NEFTs and NACH, National Automatic Clearing House, and UPI, and the BEAM UPI based systems.
Yes.
When you wanted to build it, the challenges are the scalabilities. How will you able to meet the sudden growth of the systems? One of the learnings, if you see, when you build the UPI systems, we are trying to do the exponential growth kind of things when the transactions are picking up every day and month, and it's a big challenge, and agile mode the systems have to be created and expanded. And really, when you look into the systems, normally what we do is synchronize methods of the transactions logging in the systems, and we look for the are waiting for them responses from the respective host, then it will get processed. And it is become one of the tedious process when we try to do the UPI scalability of the systems. And then when you look into the things and the market experts like Pramod and everybody, when we are consulted, and we see the things, the basic fundamental of the architecture when you try to do the synchronized based communications and created the bottlenecks. And we have then altered that one, and we created a process where it will not wait for any response. It is an async kind of the methods, and that have given us a big way to grow in the horizontal scalability of the systems. And if you say NACH also, when you say National Automatic Clearinghouse, banks wanted to put a large volume of records in the single files, 1,000, 10,000, lakhs, like that. It's growing because of the large volume of the processing. And when you use the XML based, the similarity between the UPI and the even XMLs or the ISO 222, this has the lot of tags. When you have a tags, and it has a lot of processing, parsing, and creating the values, and also the size of the files also got increased. Then what will happen? Then when we were looking into the system scalability issues, then when you looked into the system, then we made as a simple text file kind of things. Then when the text files coming from the host, then we got it translated into XML, then got processed internal system. So like that, we did lot of the modification in the system to meet the scalability of the system. Definitely, it is a big challenge for any systems in the world. If we see not having this much of process except the similar kind these. One only you can compare with the China has this kind of the volumes. Then other than that, nobody has this kind of volume processing. And everything is become new to us. When you take whether it is a capacity, whether it's a security, whether it's a load balancer, then everything is a new things and new things we need to find out, and we need to also scale horizontal. That way we have built the lot of systems during the creation of our payment infrastructure at both at the NPCI and previous organization also.
Right. Thank you, sir. So congratulations to you, and it's one of the best payment systems that we have in India, amongst others, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned earlier, we will be discussing with Dr. Rajendran about India's digital public goods. Sir, for the benefit of participants, what is, if you could explain, what is digital public goods? Please explain, sir.
So if you digital public good, any service which touching the common people, either through the e-commerce or through the any app-based applications, then that we can consider as a public good, digitally public good in the payment segment. Even many applications are available in our country to touching through the digital. And if we see the public good, when you go to the thing, how we able to reach? If we see earlier, the cards are only available to the very privileged people, and many people do not have a card which can be accepted in the say ATM, PAS, e-commerce. Everybody had their own proprietary systems, and the cards cannot be used into the across and seamless anywhere. You cannot use, the customer do not have a facility to go to anywhere and use the cards freely and they have to check first whether this card will be accepted. They have to see the logo, and that kind of things was there. But once the rupee has been introduced into the country, now you see the things. You can walk in into any establishment, whether it is the PAS network or PAS machine, whether it is an online website, whether it's an ATM. You no need to go and see the logo or anything. Just simply walk in and you can do the transactions. And the when you create this, the reaching the people through the financial inclusion and inclusive growth of the digitally, we are providing these services through the mobile and through any other online systems, then that will become the digital service to the common people.
Right, sir. So, so it's all about availability of services which are to the public to use. So like what Dr. Rajendran said, internet, Wi-Fi, usage of various payment platforms. These are all what we call as the digital public good, is what Dr. Rajendran explained to us. So whenever there is a public, there has to be so the question many will think, is there something called as private digital good? So we talk, in this context, Mr. Nandan Nilekani had spoken about three categories: the private good, the club good, and the public good. So just for the participants, could you kind of one is public good, you already mentioned, okay? Digital public good, you already mentioned. Could you mention something else about how you differentiate between a private good, a club good, and a public good?
So in a payment system, you cannot differentiate.
Yes.
Whether it is the very high net worth customer or whether the financial inclusion segment customer. Basically, what they wanted to do the remittance, or do a purchase, or do their own business. Okay. Whenever you're doing the things, the payment become an instrument, and nowhere it can do classify as a private services in the payment systems. Maybe you can have some facilities that is the like access to lounge, then the home services, are you some free transaction, like so you withdrawal limits, and the home services. Somebody wanted to have, suppose the wealth accounts, people have wealth accounts or privilege accounts. So these are the things are to provide an extended service to the individual to create an convenient and experience for them. But as far as the service is concerned, and we cannot create the payment system services, we cannot create the public, private, or the club kind of services. That is only differentiated and providing and value added services to the individual customers.
Okay, right, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the explanation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have got the perspective of today's discussion. My earlier questions were only to bring together the various factors that make a public good, so that you understand what is public good. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to put in your questions, and answers, of course, will be given by Dr. Rajendran. So put in your questions in the Q&A box. Our back office will try to get across these questions to him, and he will be able to kind of give you answers to those questions. You're also allowed to ask direct questions to him. So we will, you have to put up your hand, and we will enable you to ask a question directly to him. Keep your questions short, brief, so that we can accommodate many more questions. So the COVID-19, which is the things that is happening now, which has kind of devastated everything around it. So COVID-19 also brought into focus the farsightedness of India's payment systems, perhaps, which has been built on the last 1 decade. Okay? DBT being a classical social benefit transfer to the poor. DBT has been used extensively during this period because of unemployment to the poor and all that. From the days of 3 C's, that is what we had as cash, check, and cards. Those 3 days, three C's as we used to call it. We have come a long way, isn't it? Talk to us about the digital payment evolution, sir.
So if you see the 3C era, that is the around 1999 or 2000, around that range.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this, if you see during those days, the card used to swipe in the offline methods, and that's it transported into the so many days, then 6-7 days takes to even settlements, and cash is only available on the branches, and check is used to as an instrument to create the trust between the buyer and seller, or any other parties wanted to do the transaction based on the business values. The check used to be a mechanism for the doing the business. And when you have a check systems, those days it takes a local checks take a 3 days, and some checks takes the 7 days. For if it is a national check, then it may takes 10 days, 15 days. So the what are the values the business guys are losing? They could not able to enhance their business opportunities, because non-availability of fund is locked because somebody has paid, but it is in the form of the check, and still it is a clearing, then it will not able to come to their business. And the customers also, the funds are locked. Customers or who are the business entities, the funds are locked because you already once issue the check. You need to maintain the balance to ensure the things that while clearing happen, the fund is available in their accounts. And even 98 it started to build the communication network. The first one network built using the visas and the diesel lines through the BSNL and the MTNLs. These two only providers were available those days, and the network was built that is called the Infinite. That is the starting point of the entire transformation of the manual systems to gradually move into the branch computerization, then total branch automations, then come to the CBS, then gradually it comes to the current status of the every entities are come to the online transactions. And the first one after built the Infinite and wanted to have the ATM transaction. ATMs also that time started deployed, but using connected to branch or the various mechanisms it was there. Once the Infinite was built, then wanted to have a common network for the ATMs to interconnect ATM switches in the countries. That during that time, then when the mandate was given to this IDRVT, the institute is owned by the Reserve Bank of India. During that time, then we wanted to see how we will able to create a business case. We visited the solar network, which was, I think, incidentally, it was managed during that time by this Mani Mamalan of the EPS founder. And then we studied the two key areas. Why that solar not able to grow up or not able to sustain. One about the infrastructure, communication infrastructures, and become a big issue. There is no connectivity between branches and banks. And second one was the administrative kind of the things. And both we have explained and analyzed. Then Infinite becomes the strong backbone for the payments. And then using that backbone, then we started that national payment switch.
Yes.
And it was gone live around 2001. And IDRVT has hosted that services. And during that time, lot of bilaterals started. Even Mither was one of the network, and other people also used to do the bilateral arrangement. So wanted to bring a seamless interconnectivity, the NFS helped gradually to grow into to connect everybody. Now we see more than 1,000 member banks. Almost every banks in India is part of the NFS. So this is the starting journey for the 3C to the digital platform.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It's a great evolution that we are in. I mean, what we were and what we are today, there's a complete 360-degree change in the way we are making payments and making use of the various electronic payment systems. And we are talking to Dr. Rajendran, who has been an architect, one of the architects of the India's payment systems. So, so my next query is on the building a payment infrastructure. It's not easy for such a vast country, such a populous country. It's not. You got to think hundreds of things to build a payment infrastructure. So building a payment infrastructure for a 1+ billion population is a daunting task, sir, because of the scale and complexity and the width of the country also. What were the challenges faced, and what are the key learnings that will be helpful while shaping the future of India's payment infrastructure, sir?
And if you see, the check was used to do through the manual clearing systems. And I explained you already how the delays will happen, because it had to be physically transported from one place to another place. And 2008, it started as a truncated system, check truncated system, as a pilot basis at Delhi. And while it was implementing during that time, one of the major problem is the communication network. And the communication network, not even availability of the communication, even though if it's available also, in KBs also cost so much. So if you want to send an image, that will take nearly at least 500 to 700 kbps sizes of the all three images, then you need to have a good amount of the bandwidth. Then that is one of the challenge and associated cost. And the evolution in the communication network, and thanks to that MPLS technology, it is introduced around 2003, and that helped the complete transformations of the lot of product, which can able to build a good business case to go for the online and the digital modes. And that is one of the key learnings which I myself has been experienced during the first phase of the pilot project, and second time when we rolled out the check truncation systems, the countrywide clearing systems around 2010 and 11, and that was one of the challenges we have come across. The second thing, as you see the things, the most of the platforms either uses the XML platforms or the text platform. These two normally all the proprietary the messaging system or 8583 messaging system. So all these messaging systems, if you want, some of the messaging system light, some of the messaging systems was very, very process intensive, needs the more encryption and decryptions, and needs to have the more processing capacity, and the even storage in terms of the volatile and non-volatile storage is both also need to be have more, and also the need to have the quicker processing means that you need to have a short size kind of the files, a smaller size kind of the files you need to have. The bigger file size, then it creates because the big problem in the processing. So that's why we need to have a proper technologies. That means we say what I told earlier, explained to you, when a NACH wanted to process the 50 million transactions per day. We wanted to do that kind of volume, and if you put an XML files, and the communication links will get choked, and the processing systems also will get choked, then we need to create a technology where you have to do the XML processing, but as well as you have to get the entire file in time from the bank. So the translation between the text format to XML and XML to text happen only the central system. The central system taken care of all the challenges, So end user are able to do their transaction very comfortably. The same thing for the UPI also, because it also has a very intensive the process intensive and the communication intensive technologies. So only the learnings are, we need to create a system where we are the very fast growing, and the scalability need to be not for waiting for the waterfall method. It is an agile scalability we need to create it. When you wanted to do online, we need to increase the processing capacity, communication capacity, everything. So that's why our systems have to be designed. It is can be horizontally, it can be scalable. The newer technology like the Dockers or the we say cloud systems, or it is helping in those lines, but still our applications need to be written to scale such a way that we can able to increase or decrease the required resources in the systems.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, I know it's a daunting task. There's no doubt about it with that kind of volumes that we have to bring in. So using the public good, but what I understand is that the government and RBI's target is actually 1 billion transactions a day, and that's like a massive requirement. Any thoughts on how the future infrastructure would look like and future technology would look like to cater to this kind of volumes?
See, maybe my learnings or feature technologies always have to be the agile kind of method, no waiting times. What we are, the feature it is going to happen, you will not get the downtime at all. You will have 24 into 7 services. Now already all services are demanded 24 into 7. If we see an IMPS, we see an UPI, even NEFTs. So all the systems, ATMs, all are 24 into 7. And now because of the increased demand in the workspace and increased demand in industry demands, the round the clock availability of the systems need to be ensured. So that means you have to work for a zero downtime.
Yes.
So then your systems have to be scalable in horizontal. Most of the vertical scalability systems is leading to a downtime. So you need to have a horizontal scalability systems. So that's why the technologies also, the applications also have to be written in the agile method, and also it have to be written like you write an APIs. API is the now the growing thing. Suppose you wanted to build a function, you create a one API, just plug in. And if you want another function, then another API plugin. So the applications also have to be very modular, and it horizontally should be scalable. And the demand is going to be in across the segments. Even for the if you say insurance, you take the other non-banking institutions and government entities. Many people are still, it is not in the mainstream, and they need to be included into the digital payments area. So we need to have a system which should scalable for to meet growing our population as well as the demand in the digital transactions.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we look forward to those kind of changes, because that's if 1 billion transactions for a month is daunting, and if you're talking of 1 million a day, and with many more digital initiatives coming the way, I think it will be interesting to see how the entire payments infrastructure will evolve. So, ladies and gentlemen, I continue my discussion with Dr. Rajendran. Please, we are 30 minutes into the session. So please put in your questions as soon as possible, because I'm sure a lot of people out there wanting to ask questions. For some reason, we are not able to go live on YouTube. Some technical glitch out there, so sorry about that. But there are other social media channels, so please switch over to that. So let me continue with my discussion with you, sir. So globally, it has always been the top the top 4 or top 5 MNC giants in the forefront of technology innovations. They're always been there. Anything to do with technology innovations, they were the people who was to create that. They are the private and MNC giants. However, NPCI proved that a government-backed entity can also take giant strides in innovation by building public goods in payment, isn't it? Has NPCI, and with your kind of thoughts and the things that you have done, has the myth been broken that only the top MNCs can create innovative technologies?
No, I am a strong believer of the any public department also can do an excellent jobs. And I've been in witness, even if you see in the COVID scenarios, the almost all public services has been active, and they were delivering even at risk. They were delivering, including in Air India, and many organizations are delivering. Even if you see BSNLs, everybody non-stop. Even if you, for example, I can tell you, I was just sitting in the remote places. I got within 5 hours, I got a fiber connectivity to get a network connectivity for me to just start my work. And the systems, it is are an individual. Some maybe 1 or 2 individuals may create that kind of the perspective in the industry, and still the systems is doing well. In many systems are doing well, and people can able to do it. Even if we see in the NPCI systems, though we followed all the transparency, openness, everything, all tender process and everything. And if you see, the systems also built by not a very big companies.
Yeah,
it is very, very small companies we engaged and built these systems, the UPI and the Bharat bill payment systems, then the clearing houses. Then if you see the even our risk, the earlier the NPCI built the risk management system, that is the AI based to the risk management system, also using a small companies. And the completely, and in the lot of things are delivered in the record times, because it is only the culture of the organizations, whether it is a private or public. Equally, even private also doing well, but sometimes even if some private also may not be able to deliver so much, even they also follow so many process and everything, they may also able to deliver in the right time. But at the same time, without compromising anything, and it is possible to create the systems, even public services. Absolutely, I am the total believer on the public services and public companies. And I don't underestimate other private players also, but still, public also have a capability to deliver the large systems and in time also. Even when Beam was launched, and within 1 week, we need to get up all the infrastructures, because it was gone into very, very exponential hit. And we did everything, and everybody was cooperatives. Even for whether it's a telco, whether it is the hardware supplier, whether it is say the bandwidth, the ISPs, all the people were doing. And I think it is only the collaborations, and it is a ecosystem. Even our success, we don't claim only it's an NPCI only able to do it. It is an ecosystem. Everybody worked together and could able to make it. When you say more collaboration, we can able to do the lot of success in the ahead also.
Yeah. So you're saying that it's a great collaborative effort. I think I fully agree with you. But nothing is achieved. Such big, such gigantic things cannot be achieved by one entity. So it's a great collaborative ecosystem that has brought in what we call as the public goods, digital public goods. So is there any comparison? Like we have got so much of the digital public goods available to the Indian citizens. There are various channels available, and So whether it's internet, the Wi-Fi, or usage, the quick usage of various ATMs and 24/7 delivery of everything. Is there any parallel in any other country that we can compare? And is that also a kind of a digital public good out there?
See, most of the clearing and settlement systems will be available most of the countries.
Yes.
And it might be having a different stages and different way of working. And if you see in most of the countries, they try to do bridge gap or reduce the time between the actual transaction happen and the settlements or the actual credit happen to the beneficiary to reduce that time, and they work how to reduce that time. That is like a faster payments kind of things. People were working on the thing, and still it is some of the things are they come to the real time also. And when you see these, in the NPCI has introduced in 2010 itself the immediate payment systems. That means the debit and credit of the customers or the end users will happen immediately. Only settlements will happen if they delayed between the financial institutions. And other things, if we see about the UPI, UPI is one of the unique model in the globe. The UPI has thought process during that time. Mr. Nandan Nilekani was one of the key, what you say, that the influencer asking the questions to us. See, what he was asking the question, what we can do with the growing the smartphones in the country. See, the smartphone penetration was the mobile phone penetration was very gradually increasing in our country's last 3-4 years. So how to use these mobile phones and how to bring this mobile phone into the payment systems. And there are two things we need to have if we wanted to do the payments. One is acceptance infrastructure. The second one, the users should have the user a payment instrument. The plastic card used to have the payment instrument for the most of the users, but everybody cannot carry the card and do the PIN and doing the transaction. And mobile becomes the almost everyday affair of the everyone, and they're familiar with operating how to use the mobiles. Most of them, whether it is the technically or literally, or whether it's illiterate or literate, in both cases, anybody can able to use with help of anybody is trying to use the mobile phones. So that is what one of the thing. And the USB in the UPI is globally it is the unique. No one has ditched that model. The first one, the customer of one bank being occurred by then another bank. And this is never done in anywhere. That is the PSP model is introduced. And third one, the software-based library, accepting the one bank, the customer PIN using the PSP or the other banks. So these two things has become very unique, and customer also given a very good experience. No need to remember anything except only a VPA and with the PIN. And these are the unique features of the UPI platform. And this is the globally it is a unique. Still, no one has this kind of the systems in the globally that we can proudly we can say this very the unique platform in the globally, and also most successful platform in the globally. That's why the major tech players are wanted to use this platform, and also they were also gradually increasing a lot of customer base in the UPI systems.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Perhaps the Trinity, as we call it, the JAM, okay, Jandan, Aadhaar, Mobile, and I've also played a big role. And maybe that's it's leading to one question that has come from Vipin, from Mr. Vipin Surelia. So he asked a question to you, sir. He says, Dr. Rajendran, congratulations on your new role. What, in your opinion, are a few things that we need to do to take the digital payments to rural areas? And that's where most of the Indian population resides. And the second question to that is, what different solutions will be needed?
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Vipin. I think all of you must be knowing Vipin is one of my colleague earlier with me, and not only at the NPCI, and he was with me even in the initial stage of CTS rolling out at Delhi regions. He was with me, and I think we both worked towards the touching every Indian is his own idea actually. Mr. Vipin's idea only touching every Indian. Okay, we brought that one into our vision of the company, and if you see he also knows where the growth is there, and one challenge is we need to expand the penetration of the communication networks.
Right.
Communication network between 1990s to maybe 2016 or 17, it was gone very well. I do not know, maybe the companies have to tell, and suddenly they stopped penetrating the rural areas. But still lot of opportunities available to. First task was to be the communication to be made available everywhere. That still lot of projects are happening parallelly, but if it is everything able to get some shape, if you are able to get the good communication link, and definitely the inclusion will able to successful. And second thing about the trust creation on the end users. When they make the payment, they must got the assurance that it has done properly and to the right persons. And if it is failed, it should be returned even without the customer going and approaching the bank. So that level of reconciliations among the systems need to be happen. Any failure of the systems need to be immediately reconciled, and how to return to the customer. Yes, even customer may not able to even remember. Suppose if I'm doing a 10 transaction every day, will I able to find out whether the transaction is successful, how much, unless if you have, some people may able to track every day, but sometimes if the transaction get reversed the next day and something happens, then it is difficult the customer to do the transaction. So to build the confidence, we must do the reconciliation and get the trust, creating the trust by doing the transaction and telling them the right information to the customer. The third one, definitely the frauds also. It is an ecosystem responsibility to create an awareness as well as to prevent or reduce the frauds in the ongoing economic offenses in maybe digitally every facility is coming, there will be some vulnerability, some people will be there to do the frauds also. That is also we need to create a good systems where we could able to give an assurance that yes, they can able to do the transaction very confidently.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajendran, and thank you, Mr. Vipin Surelia. Good to hear from you, and I was very glad to hear from Dr. Rajendran. You are the person who said touching every Indian. So right, absolutely. Anything that we do for the payment industry has to be on that we touch every Indian, no matter what his status is. And so thank you for coming to our show, and thank you for this wonderful question that you asked once again. Thank you. We have another question for you, sir, from Siva. He asked a question: what are the horizontally scalable technologies used or adopted by IFTAS and NPCI?
Okay, thanks for these questions. Horizontal, in sense, you should have a database to be horizontal, and you should
Yeah.
not build a vertical databases. Most of the databases is supporting to splitting the databases into different domains and creating the horizontal scalability. So that is one thing. The second thing, used to have an API. API technologies always will allows you to grow horizontally. You can create for a new transaction, you can create a new APIs and just plug in, and that is the one of uh, the the main things which are able to keep your systems the scale horizontal. And also nowadays coming the micro uh, the what we say that we can create the doctors kind of things where you can create the using the cloud platform. You can do scale in and scale out
Yeah.
of the system, so that will also will help you to optimize and the resources, as well as also when a sudden demand comes, someone peak comes, it would automatically scale, elastically scale, and to when it is not used, we can bring down and it is available to other systems. So these are the few areas where you can focus on thing, and it is the most of the technologies are Java based technologies, even C++ also still it is continuing, but a different flavors.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Siva, I hope you got your answer directly from Mr. Dr. Rajendran. So we talk about the future. Okay. So you have been a key force behind India's payment transformation. So what is your advice to those who want to drive innovation and technology breakthrough in payment systems? And leading to that is also a question from Mr. Senthil Kumar, who says, in the future, do you see application of blockchain in domestic EFT payments in the near future?
So we need to keep the two things in the mind. What blockchain as a technology offers. One, about non-reputation of the transaction. Second, assured transaction, saying the things, if once you did the transaction and whether it is failed or successful, the status is same. Nobody can able to alter it. And it is the encrypted. So these are the basic fundamentals which the blockchains provides. To reach that stage, yes, we need to have such kind of systems. That's why I told you, when you wanted to have the a trust in the customer, you want to build a confidence in the customers, and they should get the transaction status very accurately and have to be instantly. So it will grow, but the time for those implementation, the blockchain technologies, maybe it takes some more times to, because it is not a one entity just to identifying the systems and need to roll it out. You need to have the participating entities and clearinghouse and everything together. They need to come together and create the platform. A lot of works are happening in many places, and hope maybe another 6 months, next 1 year, something breakthrough will happen on that areas, and maybe you have to wait for the industry to how industry is reacting and how industry is going to come to the new technology, so that build the confidence among the customers. And definitely whatever the challenges which even usually we have faced or discussed about the scalability and processing capacity, definitely when you go for the more secure, more encrypted and more assured transactions in the blockchain technology, also we need to look into the things how the scalable will happen, and you need to even test that one before even you go to the live or making the live of the systems.
Right, sir. Thank you. Senthil, I hope you've got also the answer. I have another query from Mr. Bhagesh Vyas. He wants to know. He says, I wanted to know whether technology adoption for micro digital payments, whether enforced or opted by user based on need, is capable to address literacy and associated fraud risk at user level?
See, when you take any consumer and any segment, whether a payment or the non-payment systems, okay, what consumer want? Consumer go by a brand, consumer go by the quality of the product, consumer go by the market, how the people adopting, they go by that way. And we cannot expect consumer to take care everything. There is a ecosystem responsibility to provide a secure payment instrument or payment system to the consumer also. But in the ecosystem, consumer also one of the participant. And the participants also, we need to gear it up in terms of creating an awareness, in terms of providing a multiple effects of trainings to create an awareness about the product and how to use it. Very simple things. When you give an ATM card with a PIN, and even nowadays also I'm seeing even good educated people, graduates also, keep both together in the packet or wallet, and even without even opening the PIN number, they can just open the PIN and tear it out of that one or destroy that one. That is what bank gives the instruction, but still they keep it together. If they lost, what will happen? So we need to create a continuous awareness and educations to win the ecosystem participant, that is the end user also.
Right, sir. Okay, thank you. I hope, Magish, you got your answer. So, one I think one very relevant question has come, because our topic today is all about digital open goods. So the question to you, sir, is that in this era of, or at least where India is today in the digital open goods, why are digital payments charged? So he says the case of fee that is done for first time, why an activation fee is being charged?
So actually, this is very complex questions. Okay, yeah. It is versus digital versus the branch banking, or if you see the everywhere for anything if you do, you need to have a service. There is a cost involved. Okay, and how that cost is either subsidized or supported to the entities. It's a purely a business method. If you don't have any the costing mechanisms, and there are ecosystem have everybody have different kind of an interest to acquire the customer from merchant, and it's after all it's a business. So I think people should be little care about while talking about what should be charged. That is absolutely it's a business decision. We cannot get into a debate on how it can be happen. In many cases, it is happen. Maybe sometimes people can question the things how it is arrived, and that is a different cases. But still, I think I leave this question to the ecosystem itself, because it's the evolving stage.
Right.
Somebody have to support something to put an infrastructure and grow, and maybe after growing, maybe it can be taken care of differently.
Yes. Right. Thank you. So next questions are, I knew this would happen, but there's lots of questions coming to you. So next question is from Mr. Sachin Bidwai. He asks, sir, how banks should handle the dynamic spurt in banking, in payments, banking, and other allied services. As today, banks are required to deal with multiple entities, such as the central payment operators, service providers, fintech startups, and many other such groups. Any thoughts?
Where the question comes here is how this player to interconnect each other and communicate to each other. The challenge only comes those areas.
Right.
So when you have the systems, the standards, or the communication basis are getting standards, and then this will become easy. Many industry are talking about how to standardize the messages.
Yeah.
It could be a payment message or it could be something else. So they wanted to have some standardization between the ecosystem, so that because suppose a insurance company may be making a payment, and this might be handling it differently, the payment messaging payment system, and maybe same things is done by the retail stores, we in e-commerce guys maybe doing it differently. So because every system to wanted to talk to everybody, then they need to create an interface to different format and different systems. So there need to be some standardization on the messaging format. That's why if you see the most of the things, so nowadays people are driving towards the ISO 222, so that many things can become the standard, but it takes a longer time. It cannot happen in the single day, because the systems are in payment areas and are even ages together. People will not change because the cost which is involved in transforming from one system to another system is very huge.
Right, sir. So I want to ask you a question on the data, sir. Okay. So let's discuss about data. See, our government collects a lot of data, vast amounts of data on everything from healthcare, housing, education to domestic and national security. So they connect both directly, indirectly, census. It's another. So my question to you is, don't we need a governing body which will decide who gives the permission for data use? What is the best way to share data between two agencies, etc.? So, is there such a thing coming up? Or my question, like I said, is do we need a governing body for use of public data with government?
See, the government is the elected representatives. Okay, I think we should not even discuss what policies and they are making. We are agreed and accepted, and they come to the uh, power, and they are governing the things. So only one thing which things we should aware everybody. People talk about the mobile. Everybody has a mobile. Now, just it's my one of my personal view about the privacy things. When you have a mobile, in the fundamental in the mobile system itself, if we are not able to identify you where you are, and we will not able to even connect you a call.
Yeah,
this is very basic things, and this we should not think that this is a privacy issues. See, if you wanted to have a service, you are now gone to the Ola, Uber, everybody. Unless they will identify you, where are you, and how will able to deliver a services. So now people we should even some of the things. If you wanted to have a security of the things, even cabs and many people are having. If you want to call some emergency help, unless you have your location need to be told where you are, how people able to even come and rescue or help you. So we need to see very carefully, and while talking about the privacy, and most of the things are maybe if it is with the consent of the customers, and if it is required and essentially to provide a services, and that is the way we need to take this as a privacy. We should not even get into the analyzing why this is the kind of who should manage all the things and all, and leave it to the government to decide what they wanted to do it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, I agree with you. So we have been talking about the digital open goods, and we've almost come to the end. But I cannot close this session unless for a minute I take your extension on this. Is on net neutrality. Okay, because we're talking about the digital open system. So could you explain what is net neutrality, and is the government policy on net neutrality good for India's digital growth?
I can only tell about what is the neutrality, but I'm not aware about what is the government policy on that.
Okay.
Okay, and so if you say then we need to go back to how the history grown the ARPANET and the everything created the network and community. It is all are During the time when we started, all the internet is interconnecting, and nobody is even classified the services.
Right.
But now, because of the lot of players, they wanted to classify services and prioritize. I think that may not be the, as my personal view, the right approach to reach everybody. I think we should have we should segregate the carrier segments and services segments separate. The carrier segment should be no restriction, it should go through. Then only you will able to seamless connectivity, seamless things, and at least for a domestic.
Okay.
So abroad, it's a government has everything to do whatever we wanted to have it. But at least for a domestic, we should have a clear, and we wanted to have it should have the basic thing, the transport. There,
Yes.
once the transport is the seamless, and lot of digital things will build over the things, only for that services can be differentiated or build or can be done. That is that should be a different things, should be looked into the things different way.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. So we have already crossed the limit of our time, and there's still so much to talk to you, sir. There's so much to discuss with you, because this is a topic which is, I think, close to many people's heart who are in the business of payments, or any fintech company employees who are in the payment side. So today, ladies and gentlemen, along with Dr. Rajendran, we touched upon a host of subjects on this topic. We talked about the evolution of payments, UPI, CTS, payment infrastructure, the agile scalability, which Dr. Rajendran talked about, being, there should be no wastage of time, 24/7, zero downtime, extremely important for any new payment system to come up. And the collaborative ecosystem we talked about, which is very important, that it's not that it's just a one person's or one entity's job to do everything. It's a collaborative tool, that a collaboration that creates an ecosystem. So, with these thoughts, I would like to end this show. Dr. Rajendran, it was wonderful talking to you. So much of discussion, so much of topics we covered in this short period of 1 hour. That itself is just not enough. We feel there's more to be. We have to discuss more and more. So maybe I would request you to, I would invite you right now itself to come to another session with us. With these few words, thank you very much for sparing your time. And it was wonderful talking to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I wish everybody have to safe, and their employees, their relatives, everything safe, and stay at home or office, wherever. I wish everybody should be completely maybe come out with the current crisis of the COVID-19. Thank you very much. All the
Thank you,
best.
sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.